Good morning everyone. Myself Dr. Priyanka, postgraduate third year, Department of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery. Today we'll be discussing about radiographic interpretation of jaw bones. These are the contents. First we'll start with the introduction. What do you mean by radiolucent? It refers to that portion of a processed radiograph which appears as dark or black. It is caused due to the passage of maximum photons through the object. What do you mean by radiopaque? It refers to that portion of processed radiograph which appears as light or white. It is caused due to the presence of dense objects in path of photons that are strong absorbers. Now what is unilocular radiolucency? The word uni means one and locular means lobes. It means a lesion, it appears as one mass. What is multilocular radiolucency? From the word multilocular radiolucencies, they are produced by multiple adjacent and frequently overlapping pathological compartments in bone. Unilocular radiolucencies, differential diagnosis, it includes anatomic and pathological. Anatomic, it includes mandible foramen, mandibular canal, mental foramen, lingual foramen, submandibular fossa, bone marrow spaces, intermaxillary suture, nasal cavity, maxillary sinus, incisive foramen, developing tooth crypt, greater palatine foramen. Pathological, it can be divided into two categories, well circumscribed and poorly circumscribed. Well circumscribed, it includes periapical granuloma, periapical cyst, denturitis cyst, unicystic ameloblastoma, periapical cemento-osseous dysplasia, periapical scar, eruption cyst, lateral periodontal cyst, odontogenic keratocyst. Poorly circumscribed, it include acute osteomyelitis, primary bone neoplasm, direct bone tumor intention and lytic metastasis. Anatomical radiolucencies. The structure which are related to mandible, they are mandible foramen, mandibular canal, mental foramen, lingual foramen and mental fossa. Structure related to maxilla, they are intermaxillary suture, incisive foramen, nasal cavity, nasolacrimal duct and maxillary sinus. Now structure related to mandible. First, mandibular foramen. It is situated just above the midpoint in the medial surface of ramus and just posterior to the midpoint between the anterior and posterior borders. It is seen on panographic and lateral oblique film. The outline, it varies from triangular to oval to funnel shaped. The radiographic images, it is usually 1 cm in diameter. It is associated with relatively radiolucent mandibular canal which passes from it in an anterior-inferior direction. Mandible foramen, it is lingula may be detected as a triangular radiopacity or variable density as the foramen anterior border. Mandibular canal, largest of all nutrient canal. It is seen on panoramic or periapical radiograph of molar region. It appears as relatively radiolucent channel bounded by definite thin radiopaque line throughout its length. Its course can be followed anterior-inferiorly to a point where it frequently appears to sweep upward to meet the mental foramen. Mental foramen forms the anterior limit of mandibular canal. The mandibular canal sends off the mental canal in the premolar region area. It is usually located on radiograph in the premolar apices area. It may be mistaken as periapical pathostoses. Lingual foramen, it is seen in relation to lower lateral central incisor. Often on periapical view, it is located above the apices of these teeth in the midline. Mental fossa, it is a depression on the labial aspect of the midline of mandible just above the mantle tubercle. Structure related to maxilla. Intermaxillary suture. Intermaxillary or median suture between right and left maxillary bone. It can be identified as thin vertical radiolucency in midline between central incisor. Incisive foramen frequently shows as round, over, diamond shape or heart shape radiolucency which is well defined on occlusal and periapical radiographs. Nasolacrimal duct, they forms the nasolacrimal canal. It is seen on maxillary occlusal radiograph projected onto the posterior hard palate near the first and the second molar as well defined radiolucency bilaterally, well defined by sharp radiopaque borders. Maxillary sinus, it appears as well defined radiolucency with thin sharp radiopaque borders. Unilocular radiolucencies. First is the periapical abscess. The primary abscess develops in the periapical region, that is normal on radiographic examination. The infection, it is usually acute and exudative, involving the periodontal tissues at the apex of the tooth with necrotic pulp. The secondary abscess may be of the chronic or the acute type. The related tooth show such as deep restoration, caries, narrow pulp chamber, canals which suggest that pulp is non-vital. Tooth does not respond to electric pulp test. The tooth may demonstrate increased mobility. In untreated case, the abscess may penetrate the cortical plate and forms a space infection in the adjacent soft tissues. Radiographic feature. In acute lesion, the margin of the radiolucency may be well defined with hyperostotic borders. The borders are ill defined in case of chronic condition. Periapical granuloma, it represents between 69.7% and 94% of all the pulpoperiapical lesion. It is a result of successful attempts from the periapical tissues to neutralize and confine the irritating toxin products that are escaping from the root canal. Radiographic feature, you will see well circumscribed radiolucency, rounded and surrounded apex of the tooth. It may be surrounded by thin radiopaque border. Radicular cyst, it is also known as periapical cyst, apical periodontal cyst and dental cyst. These are the most common type of cyst in jaw. It results when cell rest of malleus in PDL. They are stimulated to proliferate and undergo cystic degeneration by inflammatory products by non-vital tooth. Now radiographically, the most common site it is maxilla and especially central incisors and canine. In deciduous teeth, most commonly affected are molar are involved. It is usually have well defined cortical borders. When cysts become infected due to inflammatory reaction of surrounding bone, cortex may be lost or become more sclerotic. Effect on surrounding structure. If cyst is large, displacement and resorption of roots of adjacent teeth may occur. Outer cortical plate of maxilla or mandible may expand in circular shape. Cyst may displace the inferior angular canal in inferior direction. Now the dentigerous cyst. It is also known as follicular cyst. It is the most common type of cyst which is formed around the crown of an unerupted tooth. It begins with accumulation of fluid in the layer of reduced enamel epithelium or between the epithelium and the crown of unerupted or supernumerary tooth. Typically, patient has no pain or discomfort. Radiographically, the location is mandibular third molar or maxillary canine. They are most commonly involved. Cyst, it is attached to CEJ. Some cysts, they are eccentric, developing from the lateral aspect of the crown so that they occupy an area besides the crown instead of above the crown. Periphery, it has well defined cortex with curved or circular outline. Cortex may be missing if there in case of secondary infection. Effect on surrounding structure. It displaces the tooth into apical direction. It may resorb the adjacent tooth. It may tends to expand the outer cortex of the involved jaw. The differential diagnoses are hyperplastic follicle, odontogenic cyst, ameloblastic fibroma, unicystic ameloblastoma, adenomatoid odontogenic tumor. Now is the unicystic ameloblastoma. It is also known as mural ameloblastoma. It arises from the wall of the cyst. It is the second most frequently occurring pathological pericoronal radiolucency. It is associated with following cysts: dentigerous cyst, residual cyst, radicular cyst, globulomaxillary cyst and primordial cyst. Radiographically, mandible, it is more commonly involved. 77% in molar ramus region and 10% in premolar area and 13% in symphysis area. Associated teeth, it is displaced. Now adenomatoid odontogenic tumor. It is uncommon, benign and non-invasive tumor. The classification is central and peripheral. Central, it includes follicular and extrafollicular type. Slight female predilection, age second decade. Radiographically, you will see 75% occurs in maxilla, especially in incisor, canine, premolar region. It has follicular relationship with impacted tooth but does not attach as CJ. Most often canine is involved. The periphery well defined with sclerotic border. Effect on surrounding structure, it causes displacement of teeth. Resorption is rare. It may inhibit eruption of tooth and expansion of jaw may occur. Differential diagnoses are dentigerous cyst, odontogenic keratocyst. Now ameloblastoma, ameloblastic fibroma. It is also known as soft odontoma. These are the benign true mixed odontogenic tumor containing nest and strands of odontogenic ameloblastic epithelium in primitive dental papilla. Radiographically, mandibular, premolar and molar region, they are most common site. Borders, they are well defined and corticated. Large lesion can cause expansion of cortical plates without bone destruction. The associated tooth may fail to erupt or displaced apically. The differential diagnoses are hyperplastic follicle and dentigerous cyst. Thank you so much.